G'day folks. A bunch of you have been sending me messages and questions about or related to the video I posted this week about top of descent calculations. One in particular, Shofar91 from the UAE, thanks for your question. You asked about Glideslope descent and kind of in conjunction with top of descent. Top of descent and Glideslope descents would be two very different calculations for the simple fact that a top of descent calculation you're going to do based on how fast or how slow you want to descend. The calculation that I did in the video I posted this week was for a pretty shallow descent. I don't fly pressurized airplanes, so I've got to keep passenger comfort in mind. If you're flying a pressurized airplane, you can do a steeper descent and descend later, which means you're burning less fuel because you're up at altitude for longer. And when you do that steeper descent, your passengers don't have a uncomfortable feeling if you're coming down pretty steep because you've got a pressurized cabin. But I fly an unpressurized cabin, so I like to do my 500 foot per minute descent, shallower descent, more comfortable for everybody. So that's why I did the calculation I did. But on a glide slope, that's very different. For example, take your standard 3-degree descent, not to be confused with 3%. 3-degree descent is a very standard descent on an instrument approach. A very quick rule of thumb, which is super easy to do: take your speed, divide that by 2, and then multiply it by 10, and that will give you your rate of descent in feet per minute. So for example, let's just make it easy. If you're on the approach and glide slope descent is a 3-degree descent and you're doing 100 knots, take your 100 divided by 2, that gives you 50, and then multiply that by 10, that gives you 500. 500 is now your rate of descent in feet per minute, 500 feet per minute. If you're doing, let's say, 140 knots, divide that by 2, that's 70, multiply that by 10, that's 700. 700 feet per minute is now your rate of descent. So that's the super easy, quick math that I do there. Keep in mind, there's a very big difference between a 3-degree glide slope and a step down descent. Don't be doing that calculation on a step down descent, because you could get yourself into trouble pretty fast. So that's just a side note, but that would be how I would do my calculations for a 3-degree glide slope descent. There you go. Thanks for the question.